Hello, I'm delighted to be again with you, Sarida, in your beautiful home and engage in a soul wisdom dialogue, a space informed by silence and sourced out of wisdom to activate a new dialogue for humanity. And today we will be focusing on the word peace as for inner and outer global peace. And we let silence be the foundation from which we enter our dialogue within, through, and beyond, and create space for wisdom to emerge and guide us in being and dancing with peace. So let's take a deep breath and open our soul wisdom dialogue from silence.
A lot of guidances have been coming for the word peace to be contained or to be expressed as an active state. For example, creating peace, because that is a sense that we are all agents, we're all acting in this transformative, wonderful transformative purpose, which is really shifting our whole state of being, individually and collectively. So that sense of something like creating peace, that we're all active agents. And I had this beautiful image of a globe surrounding us of peace that we create through our commitment, through not just our commitment, but our love, and that we're constantly renewing it. This sort of temple, which is around each of us and around our world, and at the same time, there's that sense of being a drop in the ocean, that we experience ourselves as one drop in a very beautiful ocean. And what that does is it gives us the joy of being a part of something so beautiful, and the sense of that through stillness comes the deeper nature. And then out of this image of the ocean suddenly came this jet of like a fountain coming up through the water, so that there's the both the overall wonder of this beautiful globe of peace, infinite and yet around us all. And this water, this fountain coming up from the depths of our being, which is all giving us which is our nature, from our very depth, the fountain of peace and joy and love and truth, but as something really fundamental in us. That sense of being a presence that in many ways, many people are consistently, every day, replenishing the presence of our nature of peace, like this great aura, that embraces us all. And the different levels, there's those who love to meditate and who love to receive the, I can call them divine, receive in the planes of light, receive the true nature of peace and love. And then at every level, there are those of us who engage. We engage in the everyday, and we engage with encouraging harmony between us For example, just in our community, as we spoke about, just engaging with people who have different thoughts and not being frightened, just it's undoing the fear of separateness, which feels really a fear of not of being ridiculed or being ostracized in our community for being different, but just to be able to share together with respect. And then another level where people create maybe institutions where they're honoring the peace and the honoring the well-being of all beings, the well-being of their community, and what does their community need. Always inspired by this dimension, this new dimension that's coming through of love and peace, of the transforming nature of love, and of believing that we are beings of love. Because so much in our ancestral transmission is negative. We're not deserving, and so on, but our nature is love. And so these different levels, consistently just being alive, the aliveness of love and peace. So realizing that it is really making a reality of that it is in every dimension. And in the Sufi tradition, we speak of the eyes of the heart. And I'm sure it's a lot of, it's not just Sufis, but the eyes of the heart, where as one, it's surrender, but it's more, surrendering can sound very passive, because this is willingly opening ourselves. And as we are able, as we're given this gift, so, the heart sees the unity, sees the peace in all those around us. So they're the physical eyes that might see what we have habitually seen with a bit of distrust and a bit of criticism, whatever. But then the eyes of the heart see the true, loving yearning for peace, a relationship, an equality of every being. And so we just affirm that, just keeping seeing through the eyes of the heart. Oh, there's something else. Again, this is in Murshid's teaching. There's a chapter where to see ourself as another ourself, to experience being somebody who we have a loving relationship with, somebody who we have maybe a cooperative working relationship with, somebody that we have difficulty with, and somebody we have real difficulty with. And with each of those, we experience ourselves in that being. And there's such a beauty in this practice of coming to dissolve the divisions through compassionate awareness. I rest my case. And there is both opportunity and need for this initiative at this time.
Well, love is very present, and it's holding and sustaining our hearts, and somehow an encouragement that comes in listening to a sentence that goes, "You've been loved and you always be loved." Something that I'm hearing, and somehow is omnipresent love. It fills the space with warmth, with tenderness, and both holds the heart and makes it tender, opens it for more love to come. And love serves peace as much as beauty serves love. Through the beauty we see love. And as our heart sees love through the eye of the heart, love expands. And that love ultimately leads us to peace, to an inner peace, to a stillness that is creative, as it creates a new reality, a new world, we could say, from within, as a fountain, as you were speaking of, that waters a rose, growing, flourishing, opening, and that opening, peace unfolds, or peace becomes visible. In that comes a lesson that we can create peace only through love, only through letting love be the driver. And in that, in following the driving force, the heart opens, and only if the heart opens, action can follow to serve further that opening, converging towards peace, enabling peace to be. And it's fascinating because we tend to see peace as something that is on another plane, that is somehow far and distant from us, as something that we don't necessarily deal with or need to focus on. At best, we focus on love, and oftentimes love is not even in our focus, in our awareness. Although we come from love in many different ways, in the simplest form, we come from an act of love, physically, emotionally, spiritually. We originate from love. But then we often replace love in our life with other words or other concepts that are manifestation of love, but when we focus only on those concepts, we forget about love. And as love is so omnipresent and all around us, if we only listen, it's a sea, it's an ocean, as we were saying, to which we belong as drops in the ocean. And that belonging to the sea of love, we get to be human, fully. We share that sense of sacred humanness that is seated in our heart. It is very universal in a way. It's a language that we can all sense into and speak, if we dare to speak it. And as we allow that love, heart language to be with us, be us, we'll reconnect to that sense of sacred oneness that is peace, that creates peace itself. And so what is needed for peace to be seen, to be held, to be created in a way, to come to creation, is that silence in our heart that unites us and allows us to see from the heart one another as being part of the same very heart, the same very love that longs for unity, that longs for oneness, that longs for integrating, as I believe the word peace means bringing together two hands, holding one another hands. And that unity, that reunification, that integration, all the very strands, all the beautiful diversity dances together, enjoys one another in a joyful, soulful, fountain-like. And it is very true that love calls for action, that love is a movement. It originates from, or can be felt and sensed into the stillness of silence, but then it moves us. It moves us in every step we dare to take towards the same direction. Sometimes calls us to daringly take courageous actions, actions that are courageous in the sense of acting the heart out. And in that courage, there's similarity, as we are all called to be courageous, and we are all called to work with our heart, showing our heart, somehow bringing our heart to light. Let it receive the light of love, the love of light, so it can shed it, it can expand it, it can radiate it, to show the way, to illuminate the way towards peace. Maybe one final thing is that in peace, it's not about shutting down our differences. Somehow it's about exalting and embracing all the possible diversity, but in a way that is capable of enjoying as taking joy, but also joining the different manifestation of the universe, of humanity, capable of holding that diversity, that tension somehow created by two opposite polarities. In that tension, enjoy the vibration of that tension, realizing that it's all one. Yeah, and I'll pause here. Love and life are very similar words. They somehow share the same sounds. Life was possible without love, or nowadays technology can advance without love, but no life is possible without love. In other words, we could say that to live is it to love. This human life experience is about experiencing love.
Love is always in there, in every cell, in every organ, certainly in our heart. And what we're needing, the affirmation of love. And through peace comes love, and through love comes peace. And the yearning, really the yearning in every being. So the word technology is like to mean learning the ways of love and the ways of peace, and affirming the love that is in every being. The sense of the visions of love and peace are bringing us life, and they are the essence of life. And it's like opening channels of life and love and peace, so that they flow through our societies, our families, our individuals and families. We are being called to bring this flowing of love and peace and life as a reality that we all yearn for. And in that yearning is the strands, the strings, the silken strings that allow us to know ourselves.
I like that yearning for love, and we probably have confused that yearning with the survival instinct. When we focus on humans having an innate survival instinct as a driving force, we justify war, we justify violence, we justify aggression. But what if it's not about that survival instinct, but it's more that yearning for love, that yearning for love as to join love, to be loved, to immerse ourselves and blend into love. In that act, manifesting peace. We could say that the journey of a seed to a flower blossoming may be challenging, may be difficult, but ultimately it creates peace, a sense of peace in our heart as the beauty that it produces, beauty and peace in the world. And also, peace is an act of love. Peace somehow is about acting love, enabling love to be our intention, to guide our actions, to be able to show compassion and go beyond our limitations. Limitations somehow and oftentimes very connected with wounds we have. But the way to heal wounds is to allow the light of love to come and see those wounds, mend them.
It's a beautiful word in the Sufi tradition, which is ishq, I-S-H, transliterated as Q, which is an aspirated. Ishq, it's like it's breathing out. And it means it's beyond defining words, but the music of it is yearning, the eternal love, the love that is in all of us, that which is our real being. It relates to Ishq, Allah, and Allah itself is, if you analyze, it's the one breath, Allah, and coming to Ishq, it is the all-pervading love, and we fall into it. We rise in it. We expand in it. We heal in it, and we find it's in the very depth of our being and in the very vastness of being. It is life, the whole of life. And just as peace is not a negative state, it's not, but often it's given this, peace is not invading somebody. Peace is holding all one's ammunitions in reserve, but not going over the boundary. It's so painful that is where we've arrived, where we are, in the common parlance, that peace is love. And, and it is not knowing, and it is trusting. So it is trusting in being, because as soon as we know, then we are somehow limiting. So peace is just being in trust, in love.
That's why it's something that can better be held in our heart. Intellectually, we may struggle. Oftentimes in our head, our ego wants to possess, wants to own, wants to take control, dividing and conquering and analyzing. But it is very true that only by trusting and comes that sense of being held, and in that being held we can reconnect with love, with that sense of being loved, being surrounded by love, being guided by love. That love that can be breathed, that is within our each and every breath. The breath itself is an act of love that allows our soul to be in the body, that unites our body with our soul, and our soul with spirit. So it's beautiful, this idea that at every breath we speak the word God in whichever language we like, as being one with the great consciousness, and allowing that great consciousness to be poured into the world, into our own world, at every breath, as we expire, as we exhale. And I wonder whether peace has somehow been fought and neglected and blamed so much, as there's a fear that with death, with peace comes death, with peace comes stillness, comes a sense of not needing any further actions or activity or life. And so it's somehow rejected, as it feared that it create no space for the individual ego, as much as people shy away from silence. Yesterday we were speaking about that constant dying and reawakening or resurrecting. So I wonder whether a limited way of seeing things is that instead of seeing life as ultimately leading to peace, and there being no life without love, some of us are seeing their ego's life only possible if there's no peace, if there's a constant fight, there's a constant activity that allows the ego to prevail over others, over things. And that is where it comes the survival instinct of the ego somehow, that wants to survive beyond death, that wants to survive beyond what sees as death.
We have an adrenaline culture, and this pervades from the very simplest of desire to find silence, and the difficulty in doing that, and the adrenaline in the culture, and more the media relies on its finances to stoke up the adrenaline, the culture in the culture, and the fear, and so on. And so it's knowing that our true balance, that adrenaline loves to be loved. and it doesn't like being in excess. It doesn't like being unbalanced. And so really coming into our true loving nature is being in harmony in the very hormones of our being and the hormones of our culture. And so the hormone of love being the one that prevails, and that the alchemy of our lives, catalyst, is really love, the transforming catalyst. Because acknowledging, knowing, that pattern of hyper stimulation, whatever, the adrenaline, whatever, knowing that, and facing it and sitting with it, we are opposites, and allowing the opposites allowing ourselves to know the opposites in ourselves is allowing the catalyst of transformation, the catalyst of love. And so there's very much this Buddhist, but many other ways, other traditions of sitting and watching whatever is going on, whatever the mind is projecting to the forefront of our awareness, simply watching. It's difficult to go on speaking. Simply watching. Yeah. The way the waves lap up onto the sand. It's a great delight in the heart in sensing that.
As we wrap up, if there are other words that want to be uttered, want to fill the space.
Silence is spreading. Just to add that there's this beautiful music in love and in peace. It can be very silent music, but it is everywhere.
Beautiful. Thank you, Sarida.
We can all be an instrument of that music. Thank you, Sarida, for your work in the world and for being an instrument of peace. And thank you for the gift of our soul wisdom dialogue today, whirling really around and for peace.